You don't have to decide who you are or what you are going to do indefinitely with the rest of your life. So, why I'm saying that is because this is my biggest struggle. So, currently, if you're new here, hello, my name is Joana Fatondji. I am a multicultural, multi passionate, multi skilled entrepreneur, and I have done so many different things in my life. And currently, I am creating a method to bring all of me together into a coherent brand. And I'm already getting there. Like I'm almost done with it. And the whole thing is going to be called the original method. And this is where I am going to also teach you, if you are also a multi-passionate, very creative, super curious person that is so always interested in personal development and growth and exploring things and doing this and doing that. And because of that, maybe you have never dared to actually show up, build your own brand, commit to one thing because you're always being pulled into this direction, this direction, this direction. The reason why you haven't been able to build something, because I know that with this type of nature, like non-committal, like super flighty, doing this, doing that, learning here, learning there, learning about astrology and astronomy and philosophy and all of the esoteric and maybe very like mental things, nothing that is super applicable to life. Maybe you've been bad with money, right? Maybe you have been explosive and impulsive. All of the things that actually don't create a stable life, not stable relationship, not stable income, not stable business, and actually really not building anything. If that's you, welcome. So I can relate with a lot of that, right? I can relate with a lot of that. And I know one thing about you, probably that you are a Sagittarius or that you are a Gemini, even, and that you are constantly looking for more information, right? And I have that too, right? Wanting freedom, not being committed to anything. As I said, I have had that too. And I came to a point where I realized like that's not how I want to live, right? I have done the things that I wanted to do. As I said, multicultural, multi-passionate, multi-skilled, because I have always also gone into the different topics that I wanted to study. Sales, right? I've traveled, I worked as a coach, I danced, I did my theater, so very much personal development in all of that, right? Presentation, speaking, dancing, somatics, right? Personal development, all of the different modalities that help you actually to be healthy, to have a routine. I've been in all of that. But at the same time, I realize I have been a traveler. And even though I like it, I feel a void inside of me that I can't look back on something. And that's why I come here. That's why I come here like every day at the end of my day, because I am committed to creating every day. I am committed to creating every day and I'm doing it. Even though I don't look perfect. And maybe you've also heard about that. Like one thing that comes to my mind is that building a brand, right? I'm always going to be circling back to this topic. Building a brand, being on social media, especially women who have maybe thought that building a brand, being taken seriously, right? Being professional, being a high ticket coach, or just making a lot of money with your expertise also requires a certain look, right? So today I read something, two opposing things, and I find myself in the middle. One woman, she said that she is a life coach, or that she's reclaiming the title of being a life coach because she has been hiding. I will always call it hiding. She has been hiding behind the title of being a business coach, right? Because life coach already had like a little bit of a unprofessional, also like flighty and maybe even trendy connotation, and business coach is like serious, take me serious, I am serious, right? So she talked about that, and also how she then showed up in her blue in her blue up and down like blazer and the matching pants, right? Like the typical corporate professional, aka white man outfit. And then another girl that I actually also have personally met before, that she also shows up in every situation, right? Whether it is in a bathrobe or whatever it is, and she's making millions, right? She for me, she is an archetypal life coach because she also speaks about branding, she speaks about mental health, she speaks about, yeah, dealing with people and negative critics and so on and so forth. I think that's life coaching. So with that being said, I am completely on this platform. Like, I'm laying down everything because I feel like in order to show up as my most authentic self, and that is all of me. That is my most authentic self. My most authentic self is versatile. My most authentic self is giving range. My most authentic self, if you watch a few other of my videos, I speak about that. My most authentic self is having range. Also, me currently in the sign of Cancer, truly, truly, truly reclaiming my vulnerability because I am a Cancer at core. I'm a Cancer in my second house, in my sun sign. I am a Cancer. So I'm very emotional. I'm an empath. I am very feeling, right? And for a long time, I couldn't handle that because it was so suppressed. And I believe that is an ancestral pattern that I broke through. So I can now show up in all of me because I know who I am, right? I know who I am. I know what I've done. I know who I am as a woman. I know who I am as a Black woman. I know who I am as a graduate. I know who I am as a life coach. I know who I am as a brand builder. I know who I am as the person who has traveled the world and all. I know who I am, right? And I know I can adapt and I can handle everything at this point, right? Up until now, okay? And that's what gives me the confidence to just sit here in, yeah, as I said, at the end of the night, not having anything scripted, but knowing that I want to share with you also what I've been working through throughout the day, and just committing to showing up because there's this deep, deep sense inside of me that I know that I'm called to show up online. One thing that I know, also looking at my astrology chart, which is also something that I teach in my course, right, is that I know that my highest calling, my soul's evolution, and also my public reputation and career is about being an Aquarius. Even that, I think that's so weird, right? But that's what an Aquarius is about, right? It's about being a little weird. But I'm supposed to be an Aquarius, aka a humanitarian, and this is what I am all about, and this is also what my program is all about, is to help you to bring all of you together, right, with everything, because personal development and being a good person, transformation, true transformation, transforming your shadows, right, transforming your shadows, uprooting your shadows, really letting your shadows work for you instead of being kept hostage by them, knowing what you are offering, knowing that you're supposed to be seen, heard, and paid, right? Bringing all of that up, that is part of my mission. And this is what I share, right? And also being you, but also being protected, right? Being you, all of you, with all facets of who you are, with everything you know about the world that we live in, with also the people that you're here to serve, and also actually serving, right? Making money from your service, making money helping people to create a system. I always say, if that's you, you're here to have a framework to create this clarity about what you bring to the table, and also the emotional healing of your self-worth, that you are actually, oh, why is this coming out, that you are actually worthy. You, like you, your self worth, you are worthy to make money doing what you love. right? With the expertise that you have, with the perspective that you have, with the spiritual perspective that you have, with the cultural perspective that you have, with the social perspective that you have, with the perspective that you have on a certain topic, right? All of that is you. And it is time for you to stop building the brand. What are your values? What do you stand for? That is truly the beginning of it. That is truly the beginning of building something for you. And you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to script everything, right? And I'm just being the example of it right now. I'm just being the example of it right now because, again, I know that I, first and foremost, and I already came out of the spiritual closet, right? I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, meaning I am spirit, right? I am spiritual. I am divine, right? And I have learned to tame my mind. I am a Gemini, and what I'm learning currently about Geminis is that we're too, like, very intellectual, very intelligent, very fast, like always scanning, always learning, just like a Sagittarius, like always fiery, always learning. Oh my goodness, right? And I had to bring all of that down, like down in terms of bringing it to the ground and creating structure around it so it doesn't consume me, and it also doesn't, how do I say, like, I am not no longer restless like that. I've found my truth, right? I found spiritual truth. I found that I am what I was looking for. So I have found clarity. I have found clarity around me, who I am, very grounded in who I am. That's for sure. And now it's just about creating more and more structure on bringing out everything that I have to offer. And if that's you, if you want to do the same, if you want to create a brand from your authenticity, from who you are, because the real work that you want to do is to break free, that you don't stay in being invisible, because everybody has something to say, right? Everybody has something to say, everybody has something to share, everybody has something to teach, everybody has something to contribute. And if you want to do that, I can help you to frame all of who you are, you as a person, your personal story, your personal history, the situations that shaped you, that formed you, but also your, maybe your intellectual knowledge or your skills, what you've learned in corporate, or what you learned in university, what you learned in school, what you learned in life, right? Bring that together and then create an offer from that, create a structure from that, really creating your own brand world, creating your own world in this life. Literally, that's what it's about. And then claiming your online presence, claiming your real estate. I'm going to say the same thing all the time. And that's the thing, because now I've brought all of everything together. And then, of course, there are nuances, right? There are nuances, and I'm going to go deeper into that once I have finished creating the course in itself. It's almost done, right? Probably I'm going to drop it tomorrow. I'm looking for beta testers. Like, if you want to create a holistic brand that represents you, I invite you to be a beta tester. It's going to be way, way cheaper than what it's going to be when I put it out on the official market with a real price. Okay, so I'm looking for beta testers. If you feel called, I invite you to sign up. You find the link in the description box down below. Get on the wait list, and then I'm going to tell you more how this looks like, who it's for, who it's not for, if that's you, if that's your desire to create true freedom, right? True freedom, from emotional freedom to financial freedom, right? That's a whole spectrum. And yeah, that's truly what this is about. Oh my goodness. I'm allowing myself to just show up like that. All right? Because again, I'm honoring the commitment to show up no matter what, and then let it build over time. Okay? It's going to get more and more clear, and I'm really looking forward to your feedback, what it is that you would love more of. I'm going to speak more about my personal stories and everything that I've overcome, and yeah, and then continuing to share and give value from that. So again, if there's anything you want to know, please comment down below, ask me questions. That's the best way for me to also pull out what I have to offer, because it's a lot. All right? All right. So that's it for today. You know, hopefully you know that you are a force of nature, and I'm looking forward to see you act like this. Until tomorrow, in the next one, whenever you decide to come back here, if you want to not miss this journey, I invite you to like, to subscribe, to hit the bell, to comment, to share, everything to help me promote this mission, to help me promote this channel, and I would highly appreciate it. Much love. Bye.